Namaste and welcome. Have you ever felt a powerful desire that completely clouded your judgment? A craving so intense it made you act against your better nature, leaving you feeling regretful or empty? We all have. But what if I told you that one of the most ancient and revered spiritual texts identifies this very force as the primary enemy of wisdom and spiritual progress? Today, we are exploring the depths of the Bhagavad Gita to understand Lord Krishna's profound teachings on a subject that affects every single one of us, Kam. This Sanskrit term is often translated as lust, but as we'll see, it encompasses any intense, selfish desire. Krishna declares in chapter 3, verse 37, that this Kam is the all-devouring, sinful enemy of this world. Strong words, indeed. But why does he say this? How does this enemy operate within us? And most importantly, what can we do about it? Let's journey together through Krishna's wisdom, uncovering his timeless insights and practical solutions to overcome this formidable foe, Kam. So, what exactly is this Kam Sri Krishna warns us about? While it certainly includes sexual desire, its scope in the Bhagavad Gita is much broader. Kam refers to any intense, selfish craving or material desire that stems from the ego and the allure of the senses. Think of it as an insatiable longing for sense objects, a burning desire for personal gratification, often at the expense of others or our own higher principles, or even the all-consuming urge for power, fame, wealth, or validation. Lord Krishna explains its origin in chapter 3, verse 37 of the Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Lord said, "It is lust alone, Arjuna, which arises from contact with the material mode of passion and later transforms into anger. It is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world." Let's break down the key points from this verse. First, desire arises from the mode of passion, a quality of nature characterized by intense activity, restlessness, attachment, and craving. When our mind is dominated by this energy, desires grow rapidly. We begin to chase pleasures, possessions, and recognition. Second, this desire, when unfulfilled, turns into anger. Think about it. How often does it happen that when we don't get what we crave, we become upset, frustrated, or even aggressive? Unfulfilled desires often lead directly to irritation and resentment. Third, desire is described as all-consuming. It's never satisfied. Like a fire that grows stronger the more you feed it, desire keeps asking for more. The moment one craving is fulfilled, another takes its place. It's a cycle that never ends. Finally, it is called a great sinner because it leads people to act in ways they wouldn't normally consider. Under its influence, individuals may lie, cheat, hurt others, or even betray their own values. It pulls one away from peace, clarity, and spiritual progress. So, we are not just talking about a fleeting thought. We are addressing a fundamental driving force that, if unchecked, can hijack our lives and obscure our path to wisdom. Now, why does Sri Krishna specifically call lust the enemy of the wise? Because wisdom is the ability to see things clearly, to discriminate between the real and the unreal, the eternal and the temporary. And lust, or Kam, directly attacks this very faculty of discrimination. Sri Krishna gives us three powerful analogies in chapter 3, verses 38 and 39, to illustrate how lust covers our innate wisdom. Verse 38 states, "As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, similarly, the living entity's pure consciousness is covered by different degrees of this lust." And verse 39 continues, Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Let's unpack these brilliant analogies. 1. Fire covered by smoke. Smoke obscures the fire's brilliance and its heat. Similarly, lust obscures the light of our innate knowledge and intelligence. We might know what's right, but the smoke of desire prevents us from seeing it clearly or acting upon it. 2. Mirror covered by dust. A dusty mirror cannot reflect your true image. Lust coats our consciousness like dust, preventing us from seeing our true self, our spiritual identity. Instead, we identify with the temporary body and its fleeting desires. 3. Embryo covered by the womb. An embryo is completely helpless and undeveloped, fully dependent and enclosed. This represents the deepest covering, where knowledge is almost entirely hidden, and one is trapped by powerful, instinctual desires. So, lust is the enemy of the wise because it veils true knowledge, it covers our inherent wisdom, destroys discrimination, we lose the ability to discern right from wrong, beneficial from harmful, leads to delusion, we mistake temporary sense pleasure for real, lasting happiness, causes bondage, it keeps us entangled in the cycle of karma and rebirth, forever chasing fleeting satisfactions. And, as Sri Krishna emphasizes, it is insatiable, it can never be truly satisfied, burning like an unquenchable fire. Trying to satisfy lust by indulging it is like trying to put out a fire by pouring gasoline on it. For anyone aspiring to wisdom, this understanding is critical. Wisdom requires clarity, detachment, and a focus on the eternal. Lust pulls us in the exact opposite direction, making it our eternal enemy. If we want to effectively combat an enemy, we need to know its strongholds, where it hides and operates. Sri Krishna, with his perfect insight, tells us exactly where lust takes shelter. In chapter 3, verse 40, he says, "The senses, the mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him." Let's examine these three strategic locations. 1. The senses. Our senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch are the gateways to the external world. Lust often first arises from the contact of these senses with their objects. We see something attractive, hear something alluring, smell something enticing, and the seed of desire is sown. 2. The mind. If the senses are the gateways, the mind is the processing center. The mind takes these sensory inputs and dwells on them. It creates fantasies, replays pleasurable experiences, and strengthens the attachment. The mind is where desire truly takes root and begins to grow, becoming a powerful craving. 3. The intelligence. This is the most crucial and often most insidious seat of lust. Our intelligence, our Buddhi, is supposed to be the discriminating faculty, the wise charioteer guiding the senses and mind. However, when lust becomes overwhelmingly powerful, it can even corrupt the intelligence itself. The intelligence then starts justifying these desires, finding reasons and arguments why it's okay to pursue them, even if they are ultimately harmful or unethical. This is when we are truly in trouble, when our own higher faculty, our power of discernment, starts working for the enemy. So, you see, lust isn't some vague external force. It operates within our own psychophysical system, hijacking our senses, our mind, and even our intelligence, to keep us bewildered and chasing shadows, covering our real knowledge. This might sound pretty formidable, and indeed, karma is a powerful adversary. But Lord Krishna doesn't just diagnose the problem, he provides a clear, actionable, and ultimately victorious solution. This is where the practical wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita truly shines. Chapter 3, verses 41 through 43, lay out the strategy. First, in verse 41, Shri Krishna instructs Arjuna. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharats, in the very beginning curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Step 1. Regulate the senses. This is the front-line defense. It doesn't mean complete suppression or becoming a joyless ascetic. It means intelligent regulation. Be mindful of what you expose your senses to, what you watch, listen to, consume. Practice withdrawing the senses from objects that trigger overwhelming desire, much like a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell for protection, an analogy Shri Krishna uses elsewhere. Next, to effectively regulate the senses, we need to understand the hierarchy of our internal faculties. Shri Krishna explains this in verse 42. The working senses are superior to dull matter, mind is higher than the senses, intelligence is still higher than the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. Understanding this hierarchy is crucial for our strategy. The senses are powerful, but the mind is more powerful and can, with effort, control or be detached from sensory input. The mind is powerful, but intelligence, Buddhi, is even more powerful and is meant to direct the mind with wisdom. And, most importantly, beyond even the intelligence, is the self, the soul, our true conscious identity, which is supreme and transcendental to all these material coverings. This understanding leads directly to Shri Krishna's ultimate instruction in verse 43 for conquering lust. Thus, knowing the soul to be superior to the material intellect, O mighty armed Arjuna, subdue the lower self, senses, mind, and intellect, by the higher self, strength of the soul, and kill this formidable enemy called lust. Step 2. Strengthen the mind and intelligence, and connect the self. This involves steadiness of mind. This is achieved through practices like meditation, dhyan, mantra chanting, and focusing on higher, spiritual principles. Using spiritual intelligence. Deliberately use your intelligence, your buddhi, to understand your true spiritual nature, that you are eternal and not the temporary body or the ever-changing mind. Constantly remind yourself of your higher purpose. Discrimination. Actively use your buddhi to differentiate between what is truly beneficial for you in the long run, leading to liberation, and what is merely temporarily pleasant, leading to further bondage. Connecting to the divine. For many, this path involves bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. By engaging the senses, mind, and intelligence in loving service to the Supreme, desires are not repressed but purified and dovetailed towards a higher purpose. Karma yoga, or selfless action without attachment to results, also helps by detaching us from selfish cravings and their outcomes. So, the fight against karma isn't just about saying no to desires. It's a proactive process of strengthening our inner faculties, understanding our true identity, and realizing that our true self is naturally joyful and doesn't need these fleeting material stimulations for genuine fulfillment. Shri Krishna's teachings, though thousands of years old, are profoundly relevant in our modern age. We live in a hyper-stimulated world, constantly bombarded by messages that tell us to consume more, desire more, achieve more materially. The forces of karma are arguably stronger and more pervasive than ever. So, how can we apply this ancient wisdom in our daily lives? 1. Practice mindful consumption. Become more aware of the media you consume, the company you keep, even the food you eat. Ask yourself, do these things fuel calm and agitation, or do they promote peace and clarity? 2. Cultivate detachment. Recognize that happiness derived solely from external objects or achievements is temporary and often illusory. Don't peg your entire sense of well-being to acquiring things or specific outcomes. 3. Develop higher tastes. Actively engage in activities that nourish your soul. This could be spiritual study, meditation, kirtan or chanting, selfless service, spending quality time in nature, or engaging in creative pursuits that elevate your consciousness. When you begin to taste a higher, more fulfilling pleasure, lower, more agitating pleasures naturally lose their grip. 4. Engage in self-reflection. Regularly take time to introspect. What desires are currently driving your actions? Are they aligned with your deepest values and spiritual goals? Journaling can be a great tool here. 5. Start with small, manageable steps. Don't try to conquer all your desires overnight. That can be overwhelming. Identify 1 or 2 areas where calm seems particularly strong in your life and begin to consciously work on regulating your response in those specific areas. 6. Remember the hierarchy. When a strong desire arises, pause. Don't just react. Engage your intelligence. Ask, is pursuing this truly good for me in the long run? Is this aligned with my true self, my higher purpose? Ultimately, Sri Krishna's teaching is not about becoming desireless in an empty, nihilistic way. It's about transforming selfish, binding desires into selfless, liberating aspirations, ultimately culminating in the highest desire, the desire for spiritual realization and an eternal, loving connection with the divine. So, as Lord Krishna so powerfully teaches us in the Bhagavad Gita, lust, or insatiable material desire, calm, is indeed the eternal enemy of the wise. It clouds our judgment, obscures our true spiritual nature, and leads us away from lasting peace and genuine fulfillment. But the beauty of the Gita is that Sri Krishna doesn't leave us in despair. He equips us with the divine weapons to fight and conquer this internal enemy, the regulation of our senses, the cultivation of a steady mind, the sharpening of our spiritual intelligence, and, most fundamentally, the profound understanding of our true identity as eternal beings, inherently superior to all material trappings and desires. This journey of conquering, calm, is nothing less than the journey towards true freedom, profound wisdom, and an unbreakable, loving connection with the divine. It's not always an easy path, but it is undoubtedly the most rewarding endeavor we can undertake in this human life. What are your thoughts on this profound teaching? How do you see calm operating in your own life or in the world around you? When something stirs within, expressing it brings clarity. The comments are open for your reflections. If this exploration of the Bhagavad Gita's wisdom on overcoming desire resonated with you, consider giving the video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more insightful journeys into timeless teachings, and feel free to share this video with anyone who might benefit. Thank you for watching. Until next time, keep inspiring and stay inspired.